Yo, you action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here, and welcome to a Friday edition of TNInews. And let's start off with some news on the Masters of the Universe front. So, updating a story I talked about on Wednesday in regards to the new Masters of the Universe Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles mashup line from Mattel, not Playmates, but from Mattel. We got some new images of the packaging, the back of the packaging for some of the figures, which gives us a look at probably some other figures that will be coming in the line. So right here we can see with the Donatello figure, which we got a look of the actual Donatello figure. I talked about that on Wednesday, but you can see on the back of the packaging art that appears to be Beastman. So we're getting an updated look for Beastman in this new mashup line. This is Man-at-Arms versus Krang, so we've seen both of those figures. And then here we have the Mutagen He-Man figure, and in the background there we have Shredder and what looks like a Shredder slime pit. So it'll be curious to see if Mattel actually releases an updated version of their Masters of the Universe slime pit to look with all the Shredder highlights on it and everything. And then that Shredder back there, again, really looks mostly like, you would typically expect Shredder to look like from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but maybe he's about to jump into the slime pit and transform himself. I don't know. But again, still no word from Mattel on when, where, or how much these figures are going to be when they get released. Again, I'm going to say I hope these are not Walmart exclusives. I hope they are general releases. And hopefully Mattel will go on and release that information fairly soon. And then in other Masters of the Universe news, we're getting updated looks at some of those new Masters of the Universe Origins figures that were announced a couple of weeks ago. So an updated look at the Necroconda figure, which actually looks really nice. This actually is a pretty cool looking figure. And then that Stranger Things mashup 2-pack with the Skeletor and the Demogorgon that looks kind of like Beastman with a Demogorgon head on it. So which here in the US is going to be a Target store exclusive. And the Necroconda, unfortunately, is going to be a Walmart exclusive also here in the United States. Jumping over to McFarlane Toys, going up for pre-order today are two new Dragons figures. So we've got one from the Hobbit movie with Smaug, and then the other from a Harry Potter movie with the Hungarian Horntail. And both of these went up for pre-order. The cost of these are $49.99 each, and you can get them at places like our sponsors, Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth. They're also available at Amazon. And then keeping it with McFarlane, we also got a look at another Platinum Edition figure. This from the 66 Retro Batman line. The Lord Death figure is getting the Platinum treatment, so a Chase variant figure, and this one glows in the dark. And speaking of glow in the dark, NECA has released images for an upcoming 7-inch Dracula figure. So this is part of their retro line. And again, this one glows in the dark. And according to NECA, this one will be available at a later time on the NECA store. So it is a NECA store exclusive. And then for you Street Fighter fans from Storm Collectibles, we have a new Ultra Street Fighter 2, the Final Challengers Ryu and Ken 2-pack. These are 1/12 scale figures. The cost of this 2-pack is going to be $210, and it is currently available at our sponsor, Big Bad Toy Store, who is the exclusive retailer for Storm Collectible figures here in the United States. For you Muppet fans, we've got two new figures that have gone up for pre-order at places like our sponsors, Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth. These are from Diamond Select Toys, so it's a 2-pack featuring Uncle Deadly and Pepe the King Prawn. So this is listed as a deluxe set, and the cost of this is going to be $30. And again, it is available for pre-order now at places like Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth. For you NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fans, if you're wanting to get your hands on that Space Usagi Jumbo figure that we've seen at various shows and stuff, that has started to show up at physical Target stores. It is currently listed on the Target website. We've got the official images from the Target website, but at this time, it is not yet available for purchase there. But again, it has started to show up at physical Target stores if you want to check your local store and see if they have it. And the cost of this one is listed as $32.99. Now switching over to Hiya Toys, we've got to look at another one of their 4-inch GIJoe figures, this time Major Bludd. So these are essentially based on the original designs that we were getting with GIJoe Classified, which I guess technically were from the video game. So Major Bludd with that red cyborg type eye implant. He's got his typical missile launcher backpack and his missile launcher gun. He's got a second gun. He's a little more armorized than what we saw with the original version, but definitely looks cool. So this is going to cost you about $24.99, and these G.I. Joe figures, unfortunately, have not been going up at places like Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth, so I believe you can only get them from overseas retailers like a Robot Kingdom. And keeping it with G.I. Joe, I just wanted to update you on that Super 7 crowdsourcing campaign for the Reaction G.I. Joe Cobra Mothership. So last time I talked about this, things were not looking too good. The campaign needs a minimum 4,000 backers. And after the opening weekend, it didn't even have 200 backers. But it has since seemed to pick up traction. I don't know if that's just because maybe Super 7 doesn't immediately update their website when somebody buys this. I don't know. But right now it's sitting at 1,250, and this thing has, it's got a long time to go. It's got over 52 days before this campaign ends. And again, the minimum number needed is only 4,000 backers. So right now, I would say this probably will end up getting funded. Now, it probably will not reach the early bird goal, which would mean it would need to get to the 4,000 by the 22nd, so in 2 days. I'm not seeing that happen, which means the parachutes will not be included unless Super 7 comes back later and decides to include them. But, again, I've seen a lot of people saying this thing's not going to make it, it's not going to get backed. And at this point, if it continues at the current pace, I would say it actually will get back, because again, it only needs 4,000, and right now it's sitting at 1,250 with plenty of time, basically close to 2 months before this thing ends. So again, I won't say for sure, but it is definitely looking much better than it did in those opening days of this campaign. Now switching over to the Marvel side of things, going up for pre-order yesterday or last night, today, whatever you want to call it. This is the Marvel Select Archangel figure, so I told you this one was going to be going up for pre-order this month. We saw it at Toy Fair and then again at New York Comic Con, and honestly, I'm glad we got to look at it there, because the images from those shows looked a lot better for this figure than the official images they released when it went up for pre-order. You don't even see the alternate heads with these images. So I talked about those alternate heads on Wednesday. But again, this figure is now officially available for pre-order. You can get it at places like our sponsors, Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth, and the cost of it is $27.99. And then yesterday, Hasbro released this digital render for their new classic Wasp figure that will be released sometime next year. They're going to be continuing their Avengers line, the Earth's Mightiest Hero, Beyond Earth's Mightiest Hero celebration. So it's no longer technically the anniversary, but it's a celebration line now. But essentially the same line that we were seeing this year with all the Avengers figures will continue into 2024, and one of those figures being released will be this classic Wasp. So this is not being included with the Haslab Giant Man. It is not a stretch goal. This is something that will be sold at a later date. It probably will be, assuming the Giant Man ends up getting funded, this will probably be released before, Hasbro starts to ship the Giant Man out next year, around this time next year. But it's not included with the Giant Man. I was expecting to see maybe some of the other figures that they kind of hinted at in recent interviews, like Yellow Jacket, a 6-inch Giant Man. So far today, they have not shown off any other figures. But again, Classic Wasp is definitely coming to the line, so if that is something that you wanted to display with your Giant Man, you will have an option to pay for it, down the road. Now, for those of you who are going to scream and say this should have been included, all these figures should have been included with the Giant Man, that's fine as long as if you were willing to pay more for the Giant Man, but there was no way in hell Hasbro was going to include, like 2, 3, 4 additional figures with this Giant Man and still have it at $200. So you can't have your cake and eat it too. And I think it's better that they're releasing the figures separately so people can choose whether they want to buy them or not and not have to get one or the other. If you want Giant Man, not the extra figures, you don't have to buy the extra figures. You don't have to pay for the extra figures. Or vice versa, if you don't want Giant Man but you want the extra figures, you don't have to pay the money for the big guy. Now, as it stands with the Giant Man campaign, we are just over 3 days left until the campaign ends, and it still has not reached its minimum goal. It has picked up the pace a little bit. Probably the current pace is still not enough to get it to the finish line of 10,000. It still would need to, basically we're getting to the point where it's going to have to start picking up 1,000 backers a day, because it still has over 3,000 backers needed in order to get to 10,000. So right now it's sitting at 6,693 backers with, again, just over 3 days left. The campaign will end, Monday night. So you'll have the weekend and then Monday to back this if you're still on the fence about it. But it's still, to me, it's really probably going to come down to whether or not Hasbro is sitting on a bunch of overseas backers that they haven't added to the counter. If that's the case, I think there's a good chance this will end up getting funded. But if we are just literally waiting for people who are on the fence or waiting until the absolute last day to back this, then I think it is very unlikely that this will end up reaching the 10,000. But we'll just have to wait and see. And again, I would not be surprised if, like, on that last day, all of a sudden we see the counter go up by at least 3,000, if not more. But again, we'll wait and see. But and it definitely will be interesting to see how it plays out. Okay, and then the final bit of news I have for you today is also on the Hasbro front, and it's to let you know that next weekend, so I already told you how on 10/27 Hasbro is going to be holding a live stream event where we should get some new reveals from their various brands. But also next weekend, Hasbro is going to be attending the MCM London convention, and they will be having a panel on Saturday. So 11:30 a.m., which is London time, which for those of us on the East Coast, London is about 7 hours ahead. So we're going to be talking about, for us here on the East Coast of the United States, we're talking about 4 in the morning. But nevertheless, Hasbro is going to have one panel at the convention, one panel covering all their various brands, Marvel Legends, GIJoe Classified, Star Wars, Transformers, Ghostbusters, whatever they're going to announce at 10:20 on the 10/27 event for Ghostbusters. They're probably going to talk about it at MCM. Now, I don't know if Hasbro is going to have an actual booth or, if there's going to be product on display. The convention runs starting from 10/27 to 10/29, so throughout all of next weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So it's possible if Hasbro has a booth, they might have some stuff out, on display. They might be, showing stuff off at on the 10/27 event and then put stuff out in the booth that day or the next day or what have you. I don't know. But, I talked about how, like, places like Entertainment Earth have a bunch of different Hasbro pre-orders listed starting on the 27th and going till the end of the month. So, like, GIJoe on the 31st, Marvel on the 30th and stuff. So it may not just be reveals from 10/27, but also reveals that are made during the MCM event, where we see pre-orders go up. So how much stuff, I don't know, but more opportunities for more reveals and likely more pre-orders will be coming next weekend. Okay, so that's it for today. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts on everything I talked about down in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. As always, guys, stay safe out there. Have a great weekend, and until next time, I'll catch you later. Hey, thanks for watching today's video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. And be sure to head over to the Toy News International and Marvelous News message boards communities. It's a great place to talk toys and win cool contests like $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. And remember, action figures are great.